Awesome. Thank you so much. You might see something pop up. It's going to say that we're live on YouTube. We are not live. We're not broadcasting. No one's watching this. So you got nothing to worry about there. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right, John. So I would love it if we could start off with you just kind of in your own words, giving me a rundown of your experience and what you've been up to for the last couple of years.
I got my first real estate license in Florida in about 2013. I'm sorry, 2003. By the end of my first week, I had $11 million of listings. I started out as a rep for a condo project, and I found very quickly that I was not made to be the face of a real estate enterprise, and I segued into being an assistant to a very high-powered broker. He had a real estate brokerage. We did about 40 to $50 million a year of new construction contracts, and we had a separate build and design business, and we probably had 3 to 5 starts per year of houses. I handled all the marketing there. I handled pretty much, I was the first point of contact for customers 3 days a week in the office. I handled all the marketing. I did a lot of different things. I'm not sure how many details you want. After that, I moved to Colorado. I decided I didn't want to be a broker, but I wanted to work in real estate. So I did my own marketing campaign and found a job where no job existed. And an investor hired me to run his marketing campaign. I had great success with that and did some pretty revolutionary things. And for him, I managed the marketing. I managed incoming customer contact, evaluation of properties. He bought and sold properties, typically undervalued properties. A little more than just a typical fix and flip business like you see on TV, but I did the valuation, put together prospectuses, sent out, sorry, having a, but anyway, I handled basically the acquisition of the property's valuation. And the best thing I did was set him up for success because he was sort of the closer and he would go talk to people in an attempt to purchase their homes without going through the realty system. And so it was there, and somewhat in Florida too, that I found that my gift is to set other people up for success, to sort of work behind the scenes and to set them up so that when, number one, to take everything off their plate that was not profitable. Both the guys I worked for, they were super high powered and really gifted at what they did. And they both said every minute that I'm not in front of a customer, I'm losing money. So my primary goal was to generate business, but also empty their plate so they could get nothing but face time. When I decided, when I'm also then later when the real estate crisis hit, I worked for a while as an assistant for a Keller Williams team. And then I decided to go back to good grad school, become a college English professor, but I started my own LLC real estate company. I never closed a single deal, but I did get a lot of referrals and did a lot of marketing while I was a grad school student. I've been teaching college English for 10 years, which surprisingly is an extremely marketing related job.
Yeah.
And my technology skills have continued to improve. I teach online with Zoom, so I'm familiar with that. I think I'm building a much better persona with online communication now in the age of COVID. Yeah. And I could tell you another hour of marketing stories and things, but that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You just done a couple things here and there. I like it. Awesome. All right. So what has you looking for a new opportunity here? What caught your eye about this position?
I thought that I'd be a full-time English professor till the day I died and never planned to retire. But education has really changed a lot. And I decided that I would retire and pursue something else. You may know, teaching profession does not pay very well. And the financial struggle just weighed heavily on my mind. So I retired at the end of 2019 and I had plans to get into the real estate business, probably not as a broker, but I was open-minded. And then 1 month later, COVID hit. And I decided to plow forward with what I was doing. I got my Florida license had expired, but I went through from scratch and got my license. I'm sorry, I got my Washington license first, then I got my Florida license. I interned and did some other things using Zoom to teach online, and just sort of kept my eye open for the right opportunity. I've seen a lot of really good jobs up in Seattle and Bellevue, but the commute is horrible. And I really want to have a nice quality of life. And I decided that that I would bide my time when the right opportunity came along that checked all the boxes that I'm looking for, that I would apply. And Rebecca's job was the first real estate job that I applied to. Number one, I think I detailed in my email to her, but I like what she does. She seems to have achieved a level of success that I can build on. I've never met her, but I feel really strongly that she's a very marketable person, although I know nothing about her organization that I can't do from public accessible information. But that job checks all the boxes and fits my experience very well because I've had a lot of success with marketing. I've had a lot of success doing what somewhere in this ad says, like basically brokers should be selling and nothing else. So I think I'm proficient at offloading all the things that brokers don't need to be doing that aren't profitable. I like the fact that she's involved separately in an educational component. She sells online. I'm not sure I'd call them classes, but she sells some sort of online consulting component. I like that she reaches out to like break. She has a women's like entry into the real estate business seminar of some type. I thought I could learn a lot from her in the real estate business, but the fact that she's an educator, I really felt I could benefit her, not just as a broker assistant or marketing assistant, but I thought I could really help her at not knowing what she does. It might be awesome already, but I really thought I could help her strengthen her existing teaching and also help her develop new curriculums and maybe even teach some things for her. So I just like everything I saw. I can't find anything negative about what she does. And I see so many opportunities based on what she's already doing. I really feel that I could help take her to the next level in quite a few ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Awesome. I love you done your research here. All right, John. If I were to speak with a former boss or a coworker or an old manager of yours, what do you think they would say was your greatest strength?
My greatest strength is critical thinking and out of the box thinking and the occasional ability to be a contrarian and go against the grain of the way everybody else thinks. I've always said, you put me in a room with 100 people that agree with something and I'll find a legitimate alternative point of view. They tell you that I learned a lot. I took advantage of everything that they taught me or didn't teach me on purpose, but that I learned by watching them. But they'd also tell you that I taught them a lot and built their skills and strengths as well. They'd tell you that I really was sincere about offloading all their unprofitable activities so that they could have nothing but FaceTime in person, or these days maybe by Zoom because of COVID. And they'd tell you that I sort of lit a fire underneath them. And even if they were my boss, I held them accountable and sort of drove them to success and just sort of stayed on them to be successful. And they'd also tell you that I really cared about what I did and tried to be my best. And they'd also tell you that when I had the chance, I created an unequaled customer care experience at just sort of a concierge real estate support experience.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. All right, John, on the flip side of that, if I were to ask those same people what your area of opportunity would be, what do you think they would say? Or area for improvement?
That's a great question. And I thought about that in great detail because I knew it would come up in this interview. And I think they would say that, I think that some of the things that are my strengths might also, honestly, might not work with some people. I work really hard. I'm the first one in, last one out kind of mentality. And I really like working with people that share the same thing. And I've worked with others that didn't really seem to care about their job, that didn't really seem to have integrity. And I sometimes get impatient with people because they're not as motivated as I am. They may not know it. I would never let that affect my relationship, but I think my previous bosses and coworkers would tell you that I'm somewhat demanding, but in a positive way. But it's only because I want to achieve success. And I really like to work around people that are motivated and are looking for success the way that I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. I like it. All right. We kind of touched on this just a little bit, earlier on, but give me just your general overview of all marketing related, experience, whether that's with flyers, brochures, social media, Instagram ads, all the things, Canva, Adobe. Give me all your experience here in a little overview.
Let me sort of give you some of my theories, and then I'll give you an example of each one. I believe that a lot of companies, and maybe not all companies, a lot of companies, they think the same way. They hire the same advertising agents. Look around the real estate business. 99% of the ads are about selling a dream home. Most of the agents, unfortunately, seem to be somewhat indistinguishable from the others. I always tried to take a different approach. For instance, when I first got my real estate license, actually before I even got out of school, I had a consulting business where I basically met with clients and gave them recommendations of business and tech. And my client, because I charged exorbitant amounts of money, I had a really high-end client base, mostly corporations, but some individuals. And I had a client base, a client or a couple of clients. They really reminded me of Rebecca and her husband, because one, she was a high-powered real estate broker, really reminded me of what I think Rebecca's probably like. And he was a contractor, kind of like Rebecca's husband. And so I was working with her one day, and she said, John, you ought to get into the real estate business. You'd be great. And I said, well, as it happens, I'm in real estate school. I have my license in. She said, you need to meet with my husband. Long story short, he said, I got a project for you. I know you don't know what you're doing, but you'll be great. Here's $22 million of listings. You're going to make $325,000 of commission, but it's going to take 3 years until these projects are built and paid out. But since you have your consulting business on the side, it's perfect for you. And he hired me. The first thing I found out was that we were about to spend $30,000 to demolish the house that was sitting on the condo property. And so I had some connections with the media. So about 1 week later, we had a full featured article on the front page of the newspaper, half a page with an interview of me and all the details of the new condo, because I came up with the idea that we would give away the house for free.
Oh, wow.
So we let it be known to the community through this ad that we were giving away a free house, and we were the talk of the town. And although we were never able to find somebody who could get the free house off the property in time, it was a fantastic marketing plan. It put our little brokerage and our project on the map. Then in Denver, my boss, he loved to go to these paid marketing real estate flip seminars. So he'd go away for the weekend and he'd come back with this $5,000 package of marketing materials, which I would immediately revise completely. But the idea was, is we were looking for undervalued properties that fell through the cracks, properties that were never sold based on their listing. And so I hired a crew of guys to go put flyers on houses in designated neighborhoods. And then I answered the calls. I'd collect their information. I'd ask probing questions to get to the root of their problem, why they needed to sell the house and didn't want to list it or couldn't list it with a realtor. And then I would build up the reputation of my boss, and he would show up and try to negotiate a deal. According to these expensive systems we bought, if we were lucky, we would get 0.5% return. In other words, if we put out 1,000 flyers, 5 people would call, but I was able to average 4 times that, an average 2%. And we were able to buy a lot of properties undervalued because of the marketing efforts. But the getting out there, getting these guys out and managing them in the neighborhood was very interesting, but very difficult. But the key was, once the phone rang, I was able to not only collect all the information I needed to evaluate your property, but I was also able to build up the reputation of my boss, who was really an awesome person. And so that when he got to their property, they were like ready. They were like so excited to see him, and he had such a good reputation with him that he was able to close very easily. And that's what I sort of envisioned doing for Rebecca and team. If I'm not sure that I'll be the incoming point of contact, but I want to build up their reputation and make people excited, so when they go for a listing appointment or take some customers out to look at homes, they're really excited because they know the person they're meeting is really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. I love that. I love you definitely think outside the box. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, John, I have a kind of a strange question here, throwing you off
Okay.
a little bit. But if I were to give you $50,000 right now, what kind of, and you could give this to any kind of charity or group or organization or home, where would you give that money to?
Are we talking personally or professionally?
Personally.
Um, I would always want to take some of that money and use it to benefit my local community. And I'm sure with a little research, I could find some deserving charities around here because especially real estate, it's a local based business and I like helping people. But I will tell you that I do actually have a charity that I donate to, and it's a place called Taka Shelter, and it's a dog shelter on the island of Crete in the Mediterranean. It's a Greek island, and this man, who is truly my favorite, except for my wife, of course, truly my favorite human being, and will, if he's Catholic, he will be a saint one day. He runs a dog shelter, and he saves about 500 dogs per year. And
Wow.
I donate money to him anyway, but I would give him a big chunk of money because the work that he does for these dogs and the about 1,000 people who have adopted dogs who would otherwise be dead by now. It's I really love dogs and I get emotional just thinking about this, but I'd give some money to the Taka shelter. I would give money to charities that help in education, since I am a college English professor occasionally. And I also have a lot of experience teaching immigrants, and I would want to do something to help the immigrants that come to the country who really have a struggle and a
Yeah.
lot of difficulties that the average American would just never understand.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. I need to check out that shelter in the Mediterranean. That's amazing. How did you find out about that?
They're on. I found them on YouTube, and I'm not sure. I watch dog videos, and I watch those funny videos. I'm sure if you like dogs, you've seen them,
Yeah.
and it was just something I stumbled across. He's on all major social media platforms, which I've actually learned so much in the way he markets himself. If you go to Facebook and look, just type in Takis, Takis, Takis Shelter, Takis. It's the same name as some kind of junk food they sell at the store, Takis, if you've heard of that, but it's called Takis Shelter, nonprofit organization. Go on Facebook and friend them on Facebook or check him out on YouTube. Let me warn you, once you find out about Taka Shelter, you will be the most unproductive person for a long time, because if you love dogs and cats and you like people who love dogs and cats, it's wonderful. I don't even watch TV anymore. I just watch Taka's videos.
Wow, that's awesome. I need to check that out. I love that a
Are
lot.
you a dog? Are you a dog person? A cat
Um,
person?
I I'm a more of a cat person, only in the sense because I this my apartment allows cats, not dogs. Normally my cat would be jumping up and down on the shit behind me, but she's taking a snooze on my bed right now. Lucky girl. So, but yeah, I'm big on animals as well. So I definitely need to check that out.
When you become addicted to Taka's videos, please don't hold it against me. Don't email me and say, John, you've ruined my business productivity forever. All I do is watch Taka's videos now. But
I'll
I've seen them all. I've seen them all. They won't deter me from my work.
yeah, I'll keep it for the after hours and the weekend then. All right, John. What are your salary requirements for this role?
That's a really difficult question based on the ad as it's written. The salary is $60,000 to $70,000 a year. There are options after 90 days for bonuses. I applied to the ad based on that. I'm very open to that discussion and to negotiate it. And my number one goal is that, honestly, I want to buy a bigger house. And if I were to go into real estate on a commission only basis, my lender is going to make me do that for several years. So if I have a nice guaranteed salary, I can get that loan in 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
like the idea of a nice, consistent salary to pay me for my efforts. The idea of getting productivity bonuses or profit related bonuses. I feel pretty confident I'll get some nice bonuses if I'm tied into profit sharing.
Mhm.
I do have an active real estate license, which is part of the job description. And although this job doesn't seem to be about practicing real estate, I just want to make it clear that if there is need for me to do broker work, if there's a listing appointment or showings that need to be done and all the other brokers are busy, I'm open to do that. And so I'm optimistic that that might supplement my income at some point in the future. It's not my goal, but it's certainly something I would be happy to do.
Yeah.
So some combination of a basic salary that'll let me get a loan and a car lease on a ridiculously expensive truck I'd like to buy, something that rewards me for the excellence I expect to accomplish, and the potential and since I've had an inactive license, there have been so much business that could have fallen in my lap. I could have gotten, I'm not going to tell you how I do it unless I get hired because it's my trade secret. But I bet I could have listed 3 or 4 houses this summer just based on people I met without even trying. And I had to say, not only can I not help you, but in my mind, I'm thinking, I wish I had an active real estate license. I could have made $5,000 on a referral.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to generate referrals outside of the scope of this marketing job.
Mhm.
And so as that long roundabout answer, as far as salary, I'm negotiable, especially in the beginning as I learn the job. But in the long run, I do expect this to become a 6-figure job for me. Whether Rebecca thinks it'll be or not, I plan to figure out a way to get there.
I like that. Awesome. Awesome. All right, John. Well, I think that is going to be all